Previously on
Dungeons
Call
and
of
Dragons. Our heroes, having made it to the Great Chasm, they began their battle with the skeletons. Our heroes were surrounded by the vicious monsters. However, our heroes do what they always do and slaughtered them all without mercy. Skeletons on the opposite side of the chasm began firing arrows and ballista bolts at our heroes. Chad and Allura bravely faced down the skeleton army while watching each other's backs. Meanwhile, Duke and Bullen hid. As the battle raged on, all of a sudden one of the gargoyle statues on the opposite side began flying towards our heroes. It had the same glowing purple eyes as did the other gargoyles in the crypt. Allura was backing up her bait. Unfortunately for her, he was just famous. Chad left her to do battle with the gargoyle. In one swift strike, the gargoyle crumbled, revealing that it was possessed by the same ghost our heroes have been chasing. The ghost proceeded to run away towards what appeared to be a giant stone hand. Duke, having noticed a ballista on their side, devised a plan. Unfortunately for him, leaving his cover caused him to receive a ballista bolt to the chest, dealing massive flavor damage. Bullen was trying to shoot down the ghost, but the ghost was too small. Chad, on the other hand, decided to take the more direct approach and hurled himself across the pit and landed perfectly on the stone hand. Bullen proceeded to shove some healing potion down Duke's gullet. It worked and Duke sprang back to life. However, he was immediately shot down again by a stray arrow. But it's fine. Allura is here. Duke, having been healed, got back up and started loading the ballista again as if nothing happened. The ghost had finally made it to the gargoyle on the stone hand and proceeded to possess it. However, this did not last for long. Between Chad's sword and Bullen's arrows, the statue crumbled into dust. However, with our heroes focused on the ghost, the skeletons on the opposite side began to take aim. However, as it turns out, skeletons are shockingly not very bright, and the ballista slid into the chasm along with the skeleton having forgotten to let go. Bullen used some of the ballista bolts that had become embedded in the wall as a bridge to make his way to the stone hand. Allura was still sacred, flaming all the skeletons on the opposite side to prevent any more arrows from coming their way. Having come back to life, and with no more skeletons to shoot at him, Duke began his plan. He tied a rope to the ballista bolt and the other end to the base and fired his bridge. However, Duke can't tie knots worth shit, so it came undone. Duke tried it again. However, this time the knot on his side came undone. The ghost began floating across the chasm again. However, Chad would not let this ghost get away. He tensed every muscle in his body and made a flying leap across the 50-foot chasm. Wait a minute. Hold up. World record. Long jump in feet. Let's see here. Chad grabbed the remains of the rope bridge on the other side. However, the skeletons above began cutting the ropes, and they are much better at doing so than Faye. Unfortunately for the skeletons, Chad doesn't believe in gravity and shot up the cliff face. He then ran up and punched the ghost out of the final gargoyle statue. The ghost at this point was very fed up with our hero's shit and said, "Fuck this, I'm out." He phased into the wall and got away. Chad, having lost his spray, picked up one of the ropes and tossed it to Bullen so he could get across. Duke, on the other hand, having lost all his rope, cast Reduce on himself and fired the ballista with himself on it. I'm still not entirely sure how this worked. Duke managed to grab the rope from his previous attempts and Chad whipped him up. With the remaining ballista, our heroes began to do Duke's original plan, but with someone who actually knows how to tie knots. They successfully made the rope bridge so Allura could safely get across. Our heroes had managed to survive the ambush, but the battle was not over yet. They still had a ghost to hunt down.